Hello, Tyra here. Welcome back to another Minecraft Steampunk episode. This is entirely powered by you, the viewer, so if you would like to donate monthly or once to my Ko-Fi to help keep the channel going, whether it be live stream or otherwise, it is greatly appreciated. Now here at the start, we're just getting one of our chests upgraded for storage. Nothing monumental helps here, so we're going to have a pretty substantial cut. I just wanted to get the plug-in at the beginning and tease you a little bit before we actually get into the action in this episode. We're finally working on getting our inventories upgraded to iron here. Eventually we get them to gold, but we just needed the extra space, and we eventually get more chests than this, but the basic idea was to get both of these into iron, and then there's quite a bit of sorting that we're going to skip through, so I will see you when we get back into something a little bit more interesting here. That's not me pausing to read all of my amulets and what they do, that one does mining speed, it's very helpful. However, sadly, we can't have more than one amulet equipped at the same time just by having more than one charm slot, or else I'd be running around with all of them and expanding my charm slots as possible. This isn't the most monumental thing, but for some reason I decided I really needed a fishing pole that I don't use until multiple streams later. So I got 2 string and making a chest now. There's a cobweb, alright. Am I not making a fishing pole? I'm in a backpack, oh no. I'm going to upgrade the backpack? Let's go, iron backpack. I actually have that up to diamond now. I have the netherite ingots to upgrade it further, I believe, but haven't quite gone to netherite. I'd rather have multiple diamond backpacks. But now I can tote my storage around on me. And we needed that a little bit for actually getting to our crafting. So you can see we have our glue and our andesite and everything in our inventory. We're getting ready to actually get our automated harvesting set up for kelp. And that's effectively what's going on here. I could use plows for it, but it's a lot easier to set up a normal spinning harvesting system. And honestly, I'm not sure when we get to it here, because we always end up stuck in our inventory. Another way to break blocks. This doesn't always give you blocks back. This specific mechanism here with rollers. But it can pave. Which is very helpful. But it doesn't return the blocks always, so I'm just looking at different ways to farm here. Just generally interested in what my options are. But we're gonna pause here and actually skip to where we're deciding where the farm is and how we're building it. Now we're to the point where we're deciding how we're going to handle our mechanical harvesters, our portable storage interfaces, and how to actually build up our mechanical harvester and have it automated and spinning within our kelp field here. Later on we end up butchering this a little bit, and it actually needs to be rebuilt currently where we are in our live stream series, but you'll get to see that later. Now I'm going to jump around a little bit here as I work on it and I explain what's going on. We'll have a few cuts here and there, and I will try to explain it as we go. What we're making here is a wrench that lets us actually one tap right click break any crate items and put it in our inventory. Helps a lot going forwards. Anything else that we need to press is going to end up being iron, and that's likely going to be for our mechanical harvesters later. And as you saw, we just picked up something that we accidentally placed just immediately with a shift and a right click. Now we're going to get into actually working on the kelp farm. We use our andesite casing for easy measurement to actually figure out how far out we need to go. We've placed a bunch of it and broken it by now. Went ahead and skipped over a lot of that. There's actually a tool that you can use to specifically measure with that I have not made yet. I definitely need to make one because you can see here that I end up counting. There's a point where I go up here, prick the water, go outside, count 1, 2, 3. Over here by the water wheel. See how far I need to go with my underground little pipeline here, you know? Make sure I can actually transfer everything power-wise through belts to my kelp farm. And then we start digging. And I get very easily distracted when I hit ores. And this is even before I can process ores. So when I see ores, I just go for ores. But we do eventually get mined through here and connected. We're just about there. I believe we need to go up a little bit and then we meet it almost perfectly. This is right where we need to connect to. And it looks like I'm going for a vertical connection. Usually something diagonal makes it a little bit easier to get up and down. However, we do have leap upgrades and different skills and everything that you get to use that improve, including things that improve your fishing and your mining efficiency and digging efficiency, everything along those lines. Now, the actual direction we have these spinning in does matter, and I eventually need to fix that as I end up breaking it at some point. What are we crafting? Wood? I need gears to go around corners. I mess up one of these corners, and that's what we need to fix later. The primary issue I ran into is that I just simply had the belt spinning the wrong way for the mechanical harvester to be actually spinning the way I needed to. And the main thing there is that I need the actual harvesting part to be on the front. And that's definitely important for your harvesters to be spinning into your crops as opposed to going backwards towards them. We're at the point in the live stream series currently, we're quite a few episodes off, but we're making it shorter and shorter, where this entire farm setup for the kelp actually needs to be redone, and I'm to the point where I've almost outgrown it, but I still would like to have it set up and ready to go. I had to come down here and help Toonie, and Toonie got a little bit lost, and I wanted to make sure that Toonie was okay. I don't believe Toonie has been actively playing with us, but Toonie's also been sick, so I can't really blame Toonie for that. Plus, I haven't bugged Toonie about it, so I would actually have to check. I try to make sure that you get to see as much of the building and actual create interactions that I have, so that you actually get to see what I'm doing, what I'm making, so I can explain to you why I'm making it. This just makes the kelp farm spin, break the kelp blocks, harvest them, and actually gets them onto the conveyor belt to go and be cooked. I use that for belts. I can use it for fuel. I'm currently using it for both belts and fueling my, this is the point where we realize that we can include things when they're moving. Potentially. I eventually end up using it for fuel, mostly to fuel my places, because belts are easy and cheap to make, so you end up with a lot of belts. I apologize if my voice is a little bit off, by the way. I'm a little bit sick, but I'm going to try to do a long haul here and actually finish one of these episodes, since I've had to edit it out for quite a while. Now here, we are just making the harvesters. We only need 4 of them for this, for our optimal setup here. I believe I might go for 5 if I plan to actually use it for a fuel source. But it depends on how large of a kelp fuel I plan to set up. We currently do not have the current size and dimensions needed to harvest what we need to go maximum speed. And as we are swapping off of using it as a fuel source, I don't need as much of it, but I would like to over-harvest literally as much as possible. Might even use this as an experience farm at some point and actually have furnaces cooking everything and just go back and get that experience that way. There might be a way to automate that experience in the extraction from the furnaces as well, while maintaining the experiences. I got distracted by watching me try to get the connector set up. Rotating things can be a pain, to say the least. As you can see, you place things down, they don't face in the direction you want to face them in. I've been told that holding shift places things facing in the opposite direction. Doesn't help most of the time. I've tried. Going back to count again. I believe I'm going to break back as many blocks as I need to connect to, then go back and mine the other way. Yes, it looks like it. The main goal here is to get the conveyor belt set up properly, and to actually get the farm spinning and connected. Figuring out how I wanted to connect that to a chest was a little bit of a dilemma, because I like to have buffer chests and buffer storage. It just makes sure everything flows smoothly so our contraptions don't get overfilled, so that we have a little bit of extra room for everything in case we ever need it. Eventually, when we have one big unified storage, and we don't need to be self-managing things, or our zombie lines aren't just connected to one single route, and we have a single unified storage, that won't matter as much. But currently, where we are at this point, it is very important. Been distracted by coal again. Happens every time I see something I can mine, I go, ooh, shiny. Found out I can actually throw a lot of different ores and stuff to be crushed. So that's exciting for me, because ores, blocks, and many of the create blocks give you a chance of iron nuggets and stuff, so that might be something I go for mining later, but it won't matter as much. What matters more is when we get into automated mining, which we haven't done just yet. And that's going to be exciting to actually set up. And it's something that I plan to do in cooperation with either some of the players on the server and or some of the viewers that we've had while we've been live streaming. Now here, I believe getting everything flowing in the right direction is a little bit of a task. I've given myself a dilemma with not mining out room before I actually placed down all of my belts and how I wanted it to go. And of course I see things going on the belt when I break a block, and I immediately panic. It's just like, how do I remove it? It's just gotta right click on it barehanded. It's nice and simple. Actually worked out perfectly with the amount of gears I needed there for that to be spinning in the direction I wanted it to spin in. Let's see, I'm trying to make sure we have a chest connected to this, make sure it's the right size. We did end up making it the wrong size to start with. I have a belt on there, do I notice? Yes, okay. I ended up making it one size larger than I needed. And I might skip actually correcting that, so you get to see it stop and connect after it harvests. And that's when I actually have it fixed. It's harvesting all the kelp in the world. Quality crops is already showing its pleasant face here. I end up making something to unquality my kelp crops, to the dismay of our local town hall, which would like that quality kelp to actually make food with. We do have a town hall built that would be Stab Mom Madeline. Something that she has been diligently working on. She has a kitchen built up, she has clientele, she has a bounty board. I have some stuff on the bounty board for players to play. It's not just an open server, but it is something that people that hang around and that we feel like we can trust are more than welcome to join us on. We don't have anything properly hosted yet. When we feel like we would like to have it open, we will start to use claim chunks, and we will just add people in as trusted to different alliances and stuff. We don't really plan to get into PvP. This is more of a play through the pack and actually feel like you've completed things kind of series. And I'm more than likely going to be the person that sticks with it more long term, as everyone else gets into exploring and doing different things. I've got unloading set up. I don't know if I make it shorter. I might just keep it the way that it is, which is perfectly fine. I believe I wanted it to be 4 harvesters, and later on we end up actually expanding our water wheels to be in the way of the farm, so the farm ends up underproducing. That's a problem for a future me and a future you to see. Did I just try to glue that together? Why did I glue that together? Ah, I thought I might connect the two storage-wise. I believe I end up going... This isn't correct either. This isn't where I want my buffer chest. I want that to go straight through. You can see the little skips sometimes where I jump over something where I'm running back and forth. Here, I could honestly skip, but I want you to see some of my mistakes and confusion. I don't need to hide everything. This episode's going to be decently long. You're going to be hearing me talk for quite a while, but I don't dilly-dally too much when I actually edit my episodes. I make sure you get to see everything. Where am I trying to connect this belt to? What have I done wrong? I needed it higher to actually go through to be cooked. I need to connect these two belts together, and then I think everything goes in the correct direction. Right, and it just spits right down. So we've got that all set up and fixed. Everything goes in to be cooked. Now, I do believe I end up using a... They called funnels? I don't remember. They connect on the bottom of machines to empty out the bottom. I believe I end up using a buffer chest and setting this up diagonally. I'm trying to connect it to the chest directly, and obviously that doesn't work. There we go. I literally have it right there, chutes. Not called funnels, they're called chutes. And that's a portable storage interface I'm confused by all of the time. I struggle with names with everything. It's not just with specifically create. I'm not just confused here, I'm just always confused. Obviously, this doesn't work. I'm still trying to figure things out. We do eventually get to the point where automation becomes easier and easier, and working with create becomes easier and easier. But obviously, we're not to that point yet. Oh, and we're still using goblin trades. And I believe that's something that we're not really currently actively doing outside of potentially nether goblin trades. Because we don't need to trade our ores, because eventually I get a washer and a crusher setup going to actually crush ores and wash everything properly. These goblins are a nuisance, and I wish I could feed them to something. I like trading with them, and I like having them be there, but they like being on top of you too much. And they fight back when you hit them, and I can't pick them up to move them out of my way. I was hoping I could connect this easier than this, but it didn't end up working out that way. So the whole goal here is to get a belt under it and actually going upwards. We need to actually... Will this connect? I think I need to break more stuff. Connected. Let's go. Alright, so we just actually need to get gears going so things are flowing in the correct direction. I remember doing this, but I don't remember where I needed to fix it. I broke something at some point. I skipped over the fix. One of the gears was not correct, and I needed to fix something to actually get it going in the correct direction, but now we actually get to see that everything works. I paused there for a moment just to show you that I fixed it. Got everything going, got the kelp going through and cooking. The next step after that would be to add mechanical crafters, and we actually set up a mechanical crafter to turn anything from quality crops that is higher than just normal kelp into into normal kelp rather than having different qualities, because you can't actually use the different qualities to make things with. Am I after obsidian right now? Ah, that would be correct. We want to get our nether portal going. I believe the nether portal is where this episode ends, for that matter. So I do collect obsidian here, and I count how many blocks I break. And I end up not collecting all of them. I don't know where I lose them, and I have to come back and actually get more later, which we will see. And when I collect more later, I make sure I get enough to actually make our enchanting setup. Even though I plan to use the create enchantment industry, it's still nice to have a normal enchanting table when you're working on things. Despite the complications that Tetra adds to everything. I have not upgraded my digging yet. I should be using a shovel here. I'm trying to put the nether portal here. I do put the nether portal here. I'm counting out how many blocks I need for it. And we get the area set up for it. I wanted it up towards the top of the staircase. I wanted it near my central setup. This is not going to be my final nether portal, but this is going to be what we're using for right now. And here we go. Into the nether. I do not like where we spawned. Immediate nightmares happen. Oh, not immediate nightmares, because obviously I get to explore around and mine a little bit. Takes some time for things to spawn and cause problems. And there's our first drop bear, and we almost immediately die. Chases us towards the portal. I was afraid that thing was about to come through the portal at me, which is why I stopped and stared it down that portal for a minute. And I ate some bread, got my health back up. I ended up not needing air in the nether. I don't know why I expected to need air in the nether. I assumed it would be like super heated and I would need to... I don't know, the thin air setup made me assume a lot of things about the nether that were relatively incorrect. But drop bears, we spawned where a lot of drop bears spawn. And me being in a hard mode with enigmatic... okay, you get to hear me stutter for a minute, and I'm not going to actually edit this. Enigmatic Legacy. I'm on hard mode on that, and it is difficult. You take pretty much double damage from everything. If you get set on fire, you're on fire forever. So you have to have a lot of safety precautions, and or when you die, you lose part of your soul, and part of your soul means one heart, and you have to go collect that again. Had somebody pop into the live stream at some point, which will be next episode, where you see me get very frustrated in the nether trying to go through the surface of the nether. I believe I'm trying to figure out what cooling is here, or what will make the nether work for me. But I'm not positive. Let's see. Tarnished crown isn't something we need. What am I trying to craft? Ah, am I looking for guns? Those bears scared me. I felt like I needed extra protection in the nether. I did not feel prepared. So this is honestly just me going through everything possible that I could think about helping me get prepared. Looking at different guns that we can make. End up deciding not to make any of them. Our local gunsmith actually ends up being Adeline, Stabmom. And both Solar and Adeline end up running around with guns. I don't have guns yet. I plan to actually set up my own gun forge and everything, so that I can have turrets and different things set up, but I end up deciding not to do it. It's too complicated and Impo's simpler to me. Now, what are we setting our sights on next? Robot, I'm trying to find something to defend me while I'm in the nether. To put a gun on. Silence guns is not going to help you either. There's turrets. I might end up... I'm looking at the turrets right now. They're not the easiest to craft, and we still haven't gotten to the point where we've crafted any of the turrets. It is something I would like to do. It is something that we are going to work on eventually. However, we're a little ways off, and I'm afraid I'm going to make turrets and it's going to kill my friends. So we're going to have to test that before we actually get it built out and made. And if I make turrets, I'm going to use it to probably train my way through the nether or something along those lines. Set up a drill or set up placers and stuff so that we can actually build a walking platform that just kind of slowly moves itself forwards. And places turrets occasionally to take out different enemies and stuff. And we can actually set up a train and or just a normal cart to go back and forth and refuel and rearm things as needed. I don't know how this trading post works. Nobody has figured out the trading post yet. We haven't looked up to figure out what we need to do with a trading post. I'm alt-tabbed, that's why it's frozen right now. This is something that people have frequently had to deal with in the live stream. I eventually start using my phone for it more, but then you just end up seeing me standing still in Minecraft. I don't know what the lesser evil is, other than not looking at my phone and not alt-tabbing and just playing through things. But this is effectively that. And while I could be cutting more time out of this episode, I am going to be doing that in future episodes, and you are going to be seeing more significant cuts in future episodes. And so I wanted this to be a little bit more raw, so that we could actually see what the streams were like. When people are there and talking with me, and can look up things for me and actually interact with me, we're a lot more productive. We get a lot more done, and there's a lot less alt-tabbing and being distracted. Mr. Blobfish, thank you a lot for that. I might be streaming at a bad time for you during this weekend, when we start streaming this weekend. I do plan to stream while I am sick, as I do not believe I can do too many voiceovers. Especially as we're getting towards the end here. Staring down the nether portal like, do I even want to go through that? Trying to figure out recipes for gunpowder to make different ammunition, but we're at the end of this episode. Thank you all for being here. If you've appreciated this or you've been in the live streams, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Like, favorite, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I don't know what I'm supposed to say at the end of this. So, I wish y'all have a good day. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope y'all have a good time.